The iPad Air 3 is missing in action and it won't be arriving in 2015. We think the release has been moved to 2016 and hopefully giving it extra time to brew should allow it to be even more impressive. With the iPad Air 2, we said that Apple had taken the perfect tablet and somehow made it even better. So where does it go from there? Well, hopefully it does the same thing again. We'd expected to see the iPad Air 3 in 2015, but instead we were treated to the iPad Pro. So by the time the iPad Air 3 does arrive, the iPad Air 2 is likely to be getting pretty old. As such, we're hopeful that we could see a big jump in tech and features. The processor will obviously get a boost for one, and for better or worse it's entirely possible that it will get even slimmer and lighter than the iPad Air 2, although is there anywhere for Apple to go in making this tablet even thinner? How does the iPad Air 2 compare to the iPad Air? Then there are things we'd like to see, but are less likely, such as 32GB becoming the smallest size. For now we don't have much to go on, but with it possibly not arriving until late 2016 there should be plenty more time for leaks and rumors to roll in. Cut to the chase. What is it? The next super thin tablet from Apple. When is it out? We're expecting a release in 2016, when exactly isn't clear though. What will it cost? Top end with an expensive price tag, not as much as the iPad Pro though. iPad Air 3 release date. Initially we expected the iPad Air 3 to launch in 2015, but instead Apple gave us the iPad Pro and iPad Mini 4. And to be honest, that kept us satisfied. The iPad Pro feels like an innovative, new product, while the iPad Mini 4 is a big improvement upon the iPad Mini 3. Rumor is that Apple wanted to hold off releasing the third iteration of the iPad Air as it didn't want to overload consumers with too many different choices. The iPad Air 2 is such a good tablet it was possible for Apple to hold off as well, but we hope we'll see the tablet in the first half of 2016 rather than the end. iPad Air 3 design. Rumors of the iPad Air 3 haven't really mentioned design all that much yet. We expect that's something Apple wants to keep close to its chest, but we also don't expect any major changes in the design department. It's likely Apple will keep the same size tablet and may trim it down a little bit more to make it thinner. But the iPad Air 2 is already thin enough, so maybe it's not worth Apple trying to cut more fat when it could offer us an improved battery or higher spec under the hood. There will likely be a 9.7-inch screen again, but we'd expect to see some improvements in that area as well. 3D touch technology like we've seen on the Apple Watch and Infinix 6S may come on the iPad Air 3. Rumored specs from site Madrid suggested it may come with a 4K screen resolution of 2334 x 3112. That sounds a bit far from the iPad Air 2 and its 1536 x 2048 screen resolution, but we'll have to wait and see. iPad Air 3 rivals Apple is its own worst enemy here. All the big competitors to the iPad Air 3 are other tablets made by Apple. You're covered by the iPad range whether you want something a little smaller or even a little bigger as well. There's the iPad Mini 4 from Apple that comes with an upgraded processor and a gorgeous 7.9-inch screen. It's one of the most portable and light tablets on the market right now. If you're looking for bigger, it's the iPad Pro. This comes with a huge 12.9-inch display and a very powerful A9X processor under the hood. It will cost you a little bit extra though, as this tablet doesn't come cheap. Then there's a lot of Android competition out there as well, with the likes of the Sony Xperia Z4 tablet, Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 and the Google Pixel C looking for your attention. iPad Air 3 powered and OS. There are some things about the iPad Air 3 which we can be fairly confident about. For one thing, it's likely to run iOS 10, though iOS 9 is always possible if it arrives sooner rather than later. iOS 9 brings improvements to Siri and Apple Maps, true multitasking for iPads, a new keyboard and more. So look forward to all that on the iPad Air 3 at a minimum. If it has iOS 10, that's sure to bring even more new features, but what form they'll take remains to be seen. The iPad Air 3 is also sure to get a newer, faster processor. The iPad Air 2 has an A8X chip, but we're already up to the A9X on the iPad Pro, so we'd expect that at a minimum, and quite possibly an A10 chip. There's a good chance we'll get more RAM too. The iPad Air 2 has 2GB of RAM, but Apple has since launched the iPad Pro with 4GB. As the name suggests though, the Pro is aimed at more serious productivity. so the Air 3 might not have that much, but 3GB wouldn't seem unreasonable. Expect Touch ID to make a return as well. Some early rumors also suggest an improved 13MP rear camera with an LED flash, while others claimed the iPad camera could be between 5 and 8 megapixels. Carry on over to the next page.